Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? This is BC. Welcome back to another episode of Supreme Being. I'm your host. First and foremost, shout out to Team BC, the nationwide real estate team, which now has its investment division. If you guys are interested in joining, reach out to me. Go to jointeambc.com. I also have an app in my link tree on Instagram. Also, in other news, I started Brian Casella 2.0, my second YouTube channel, amidst all the censorship, like having my Facebook deleted, Instagram dethrottled, YouTube channel demonetized, and all that. I decided to make a new channel, right? So if you want to go to my goodbye video on YouTube, the thank you and goodbye video, I have the links to everything in the description there. Also, shout out to Modern Success, my team. I have a very extensive coaching program called Modern Success, which will help you with sales, real estate, confidence, public speaking, marketing, NLP, hypnosis, all that other stuff that I know and teach. You can go to briancasella.com and check that out, or any other product that I have to offer. Okay, so let's begin. I wanted to reference some old stuff today. And when I say old stuff, it's things that happened in the past, not old information. But I made a live a little bit earlier and discussed this for a few minutes. And let me pull it up real quick and tell you what the title was to that live, just so I can use it. It said, make sure you know before you speak. Okay, and I think that's going to be the title to this podcast. I haven't decided yet, but basically, make sure you know before you speak. Now, there's a lot of ways I'm going to dissect this subject. The first one is this. I'm going to take you guys back a couple years, right? Because I think a lot of people who follow me now, not all of them, right? A good chunk of you have probably been around for a long time and you've been through a lot of the BS. But one thing you have to understand and see now is, drama sells, right? Drama has always sold. It's always been this huge thing, and it grabs people's attention, it stirs up people's emotions, and it's always at the forefront of everything. Okay. Oh wow, I'm on Instagram live right now, and I guess they took me off the live, man, because I just started it and I have 46 people on already. If you guys are just joining, I'm doing a podcast right now. So the drama thing sells. Now, back in 2018, if you weren't around, back around 2018, from May until, I don't know, September, October, there was a solid 4, 5, 6 months there where everyone and their mother came out and talked shit about me, right? Everybody, at the time, in regards to small to medium sized followings and people and brands, excluding the people who were already huge and established, I was the one really getting the lion's share of views and attention and growing and clout, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? And a lot of people were getting upset because of that. And around that time too, you saw social media and YouTube shift in a way where people just started creating drama and talking shit. So what did people do? They said, yo, this dude gets a ton of attention. We can't get attention. Let's just start talking shit about him. So from May all the way through September, October, again, it seemed like every day. I never watched any of the videos because I don't care, but everybody was sending me, yo, this person's talking shit about you. Yo, this person's talking shit about you. Yo, this person's hating on you. Yo, this person's hating on you. And I laughed because I knew people were doing it for attention, and it works, right? It gets people views. So what I want to point out, though, in relation to the title of this podcast, when I said, make sure you know before you speak or before you comment, it's in these types of, or this type of content that people make where they talk shit. Now, in many cases, it's just personal attacks, which is irrelevant, right? But again, we live in the day and age where if somebody doesn't, in quotes, like you, suddenly your information is false because we don't like you, right? Which is stupid. But what they do is this, and this is where you need to put your thinking cap on. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll take a piece of information that isn't complete and not whole, and they'll present you one side of it or this incomplete piece and present it to you as if it's the whole package of information, and you're supposed to make a judgment call or assessment based on that. Okay. A lot of bad salespeople with ulterior motives do this. A lot of people who are online talking trash do this to get attention. And overall, it's a very sleazy tactic. So let me give you a direct example of one example of many that they were doing to me back then, right? So if you're a realtor, you'll understand this easily. If you're not, I'll explain this in simple terms. When we log on to what's called the multiple listing service as an agent, right? Let's say I input a listing. One of the pieces of data that I put for that on the system is how much selling office compensation I'm going to offer. Meaning if somebody brings their client, a buyer, I stipulate on the MLS, which is also on our contracts, how much commission or what fee I'm offering a cooperating broker. Okay, that's in the system. Now, keep in mind, that doesn't disclose the total commission on the system. It just discloses to you not what the listing was taken for, the total commission. It discloses what I'm offering you. Okay, keep that in mind. So one of the tactics was, yo, this guy, look, if you go on the system, he's only offering, 2% or 2.5% or 3% on his listings, right? This was one of the tactics that they used trying to trash me. So he talks this big game of taking listings at 6 and 7%, but look, he's only offering 2.5%. So he can't be taking it at 6% or 7%, or he's only offering 2%. Okay. So keep in mind what I told you in the beginning. So this is, again, an argument created against me or anybody else with incomplete or inaccurate information presented as if it's fact, right? Now, if I wanted to go there and respond to this nonsense, I would say, call my escrow office. I've authorized them to give you the information on those particular properties, and they gladly would have disclosed to you the front cover sheet with names and pertinent data blacked out or blurred, demonstrating that I took those listings at 6 and 7%. Now, I'm not going to go through that effort because I don't have to. The only time I'm going to answer to hate or something like that is when my ass is in the court of law having to defend myself. Then it's necessary for me to respond. You can send an army, and I'm sure they still do, to talk trash about me. Doesn't matter. Why would I respond? This is why, if we're going to stay on this point for a second. When you respond to trash that's not true, not only is it a waste of your time, you give the other party or organization or person attention, but you also indicate that there's cracks in your armor. Otherwise, why would you even respond to that nonsense? I have no business responding to that. None of it's true. And my response is, if anybody who was to watch that believes it, let them. I don't want those people following me anyway if they're that susceptible to be, manipulated that easily with incomplete information. You get what I'm saying? But that's just an example of those tactics. Now, people who try to, again, with ulterior motives, who try to influence you, do this all the time. The media, any kind of media, I don't give a shit, right? Don't think politics. I'm talking any kind of media, any kind of media. They're masters at this shit. They present pieces or incomplete information as if it's the whole thing. Now, the whole point, right, of this talk is not all that information. Yes, understand that. Yes, see it. But for you and your process, how many times have you spoken about somebody or in regards to a situation and you didn't have all the information? You didn't understand this thing. You didn't have all the pieces to the puzzle, yet you still came to a conclusion about a particular person or thing or event, right? We do this innately as human beings. Why? Because emotion gets involved. This is why you have to have your emotions in check, and why I've been preaching for a long, long time, not only through demonstration, but through a lot of the content that I've been putting out, that emotional intelligence and being able to properly navigate anything that triggers your emotions or that is emotionally charged, being able to navigate that is the key to not only deciphering information, coming to concrete and logical and just conclusions, and being able to live your life properly, more in alignment with peace and tranquility and power and progression and evolution and all the things that you want. Period. End of story. How many times have you seen a viral thing be shared online and people are just, I can't believe this is happening? Fill in the blank with anything that's emotionally charged. Nobody even knows the fucking story. And what happens? Everybody comes to their conclusion. Then the media 3 months later retracts that statement. But guess what? The damage is already done. Not only to the reputations of the people involved, but to the psyche of those people, because now they're conditioning themselves habitually, because we're patterned human beings, to just respond to shit like that without actually having all the info. So whether it's someone attacking you, me, random information about some random event, you have no idea. But you got to know. The same thing can be applied if we sidestep to just things that you're learning or gathering experience in. Do you really know? Speak from the position that you're in. I go back to beginning 10 years ago now on social media and all these platforms. I wasn't a fucking teacher. I was an entrepreneur getting his hustle on saying, join me for the ride. It wasn't until 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the game that I started giving you some, okay, these are some lessons I've learned, right? And anything that I did, it was things that I was either doing that I already had a good grasp on, or things that I've already conquered or kind of accomplished. So I was speaking from the position and perspective that I was in. It's a little different now because I've been in the game for a long time. I have a lot more information, I have a lot more experience. I can speak from a different perspective and position compared to 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, right? But I know before I open my fucking mouth. I do. Now, does that mean I don't make mistakes? Of course I make mistakes, but I'll admit it, which a lot of people don't. But we have to see this. A lot of people, your clients in particular, are being misled because of this. How many times is your competition maybe presented one side or one piece of information and not given them the complete package to where you can come in and give them the missing pieces to the puzzle to help them make a better decision? That's your job. This happens too. How many people have you met with or that you're selling to, as an example, and in communication with? Past, present, and future customers who are getting from some other non-reliable source particular information about your product or service that is erroneous or wrong or misleading. And because maybe that other person has hit them a little bit more emotionally, they're siding with them. Well, this is where you have to come in and start making these changes and influencing people the right way to bring them back to reality. And sometimes that's not comfortable because, again, people have been misled for so long in pretty much every category that it's tough for them to change their way of thinking or these habits of coming to a conclusion quickly. We're very susceptible to this. We're very easy to manipulate as human beings. So you have to not only be able to recognize this tactic so that you don't fall prey to it, but you also, on your end, need to make sure that everything that comes from you and your brand, whether it's you personally, your organization, or whatever it is solid, man. It's solid. Especially when it comes to subject matter or things that are just fact or fiction. What's been done in society as of the last couple of years, which I don't agree with, but again, they've done a masterful job. This is my cat, everybody asking, right? What they've done masterfully is they've blended subject matter and things that are a matter of opinion, my opinion versus yours, and grade it out, right? And they mixed it with things that are fact or fiction. So now, as an example, in regards to how we're going to handle medical decisions, it's not fact or fiction anymore. It's your opinion versus my opinion. And it's so blurred and lost in translation that now it's a fight. Now it's opinion. Now it's my truth versus your truth and this and that. It's like, dude, it's either this or it's that. It's fact or it's fiction. There's no fucking in between. Pretty soon, it's going to be a matter of opinion, what color the sky is, and all these other things that we need to agree upon as human beings to live in a functional society. That's just going to be opinion. So the title of this podcast, Know Before You Speak, Understand Before You Speak, is even more relevant in regards to this subject matter, even though it may not seem like it's related at all. I mean, look at social media right now. You go on, TikTok and a lot of these platforms, all these videos going viral. People just eat that shit up. One thing I've noticed recently is there's so many terms now that have toxic in front of it. Like somebody said today, toxic positivity. Like, dude, that's not even a fucking real word. Are we just making shit up and adding it to the English language now? What the fuck is toxic positivity, dude? We're just making shit up as we go along and people accept it. It's unbelievable what's happening. So when I sit there and think like, what are these people talking about? Like literally, what are they talking about? And then, I give them the benefit of the doubt. Let me listen to what they're saying. And they either completely misinterpreted something that they read or a video that they watched, or they're literally just talking out of their ass. But because it has 1 million views, suddenly, oh, you're a toxic positive, right? Same thing with all the other buzzwords like toxic masculinity and all that. That shit, that's not real language. Those aren't real words and real phrases with real definitions. That is all made up shit from social media, just so you know. Just so you know. That's not real. But if we keep sharing it and talking about it, it becomes real. Right? And I can say that about a million fucking things in society today. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, get me an individual. This is the remedy to that. Whether it's with a client, whether it's in your personal life or whatever. Let me sit down, and if it's possible from their end to their end, right? Because typically it's not, for them to have a rational discussion with me about some of these things, whether again it's a client and I'm selling them and they're bringing, false views or misinformation, right, which is one of my number one assets as a salesperson, or it's one of these made up words and things that's happening in society. Let me sit down and have civil discourse with these people, or again parallel it with the selling moment where you sit down with the client. Not a problem. Through discussion and communication, this thing can be handled and overcome, no problem. When it gets to that point, that's the skill that you need to focus on. Because I've said a lot the last couple of minutes. Don't worry about that. We're never going to stop that. Focus on from you, your vessel, that when these things come in contact with you, they disintegrate. That's what you want. That's what you want. I'm not concerned with the other stuff. I can't control the world. I can't control the population, right? I'm not concerned with that. What I can do is successfully in both of these exchanges, these examples that I gave you, get my idea across and understood. And in one case, it's debate to rationalize the position. In the other one, it's help the customer achieve what they want to achieve. I get paid. Everybody's happy. That's the key here. And that's what I want you to take away from this thing. It's that. And then on the flip side, it guards your mind and it guards your temple up here. That's also what you want. This is what allows you to live more of a tranquil, peaceful, powerful existence focused on what you want to do, being happier, being more fulfilled, and not being so pulled away or strayed left and right and pulled in a million different directions. What you engage with, you choose to engage with. It gives you more of a measure of control. That's what we want here. I don't want to be this easily manipulated person who just gets jerked around all the time and I can't live my existence without getting triggered by a million or a thousand different things. Right? And that's becoming an issue right now in society. Things that were not even a topic of discussion 5 years ago, 10 years ago now are offensive or this and that. Where are we going to draw the line with people manning the fuck up and being able to exist in this world of things being different? And us having to adjust the world and create bubbles around everything and safe spaces. Where do we draw the line there? I want to equip you as an individual to be powerful beyond measure. So you don't even have to concern yourself with a topic like that. That's the point here. That's the key. That's what you have to strive for. Because everybody to a certain degree has things that fuck with them. I did too in the past and I continue to now. And what am I doing? I'm evolving to rid myself of those things on a continuous basis. So I live a better existence. And by doing that, it benefits the world. Now, what 10 years ago would make me blow up and get pissed off and talk shit, I can be around it. And I'm just like, I don't even care anymore. It doesn't affect me. What is that the result of? My evolution, not the world around me changing. I fucking changed. I changed. I got better. I got stronger. That needs to be the focus here. Now, will we be able to convince the world of that? I don't think so. Not anytime soon. However, the people who do align with this and agree with it, it's up to us to do it. That's how the change happens. The individual level change is the ripple effect that causes the mass change. But it starts at the individual level. That's what we're focused on here. Focused on that. Focus on that. That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. You do that, things are going to be good. Or at least much better than they would be if you didn't. Okay? So that's it for this one, guys. I appreciate everybody tuning in and listening. This is the first podcast of 2022. Shout out to Modern Success, my coaching program. Shout out to Brian Casella 2.0, the new YouTube channel. Make sure you guys check it out. You can check out the last video on my main one if you can find it. And then all the links in the description are there to Modern Success, my team, and all that fun stuff. All right? That's it for this one. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.